we don't have a thumbnail.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, where we have good conversations with good people, and any good conversation is worth having drunk. Cheers, good buddy.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers to all our listeners. I hope everyone poured themselves a nice drink. You're sitting back, you're relaxing. We're 10 days until Christmas, and hopefully you're pushing hard to finish the year strong. I know we are.
Yes, sir. I was tempted to just pull out the bottle and start drinking straight from it.
We remember what happened on those episodes. It doesn't always end well. So
no, there was one after hours. I remember that we were done at like 3:00 our time, and I think you took like a 45-minute phone call, and I was still on with our guest at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. That was a fun after hours one.
It was a good afternoon. Yeah. That was before Thad had a baby, so he was allowed to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. As you've noticed, it's just the two of us today because this show we're doing a year in review, a little flashback over the last year, the 50 odd episodes that we were able to squeeze in this year. It was a fun fucking year. Lot of great guests. I know we're not going to get to everyone in this episode. Literally, we would have to pull like a 30-second snippet from each guest, and we would be done in 30 minutes off of that. Yeah, it was a fantastic year, and there was so much knowledge that was packed into it. So we're going to fire through some of the key nuggets that we pulled from this year, some of the key lessons that we really loved, and pull out some of the notes that we took from those shows. But we'd also love to hear from all of you. So anyone that's listening live to this episode, feel free to drop it in the comments. Any of your favorite nuggets that you pulled from this show over the year. We've had some phenomenal guests on this show, and excited to fire through this and lead into next year because we've got some great guests already lined up for next year. We're already booking into mid-February now, so I'm excited.
Fire! I think that's going to be a cool intro. Thanks, Jason Walker, for that. But also, if you're watching this on a replay, also drop into the comments. We do get back to those as well after the fact. Some of your favorite highlights and some of your favorite takeaways on that. But I do just want to say from really the bottom of my heart, and I know Evan's heart as well, to thank you, the listener, for tuning in with this journey that we've had. I know we kind of did that 1 year episode a little while ago. We kind of got a little sentimental, and I might have almost cried on the show for it. But it's funny because after that, I looked, a memory popped up, and it showed, I think it was our episode with Jason Julian, and going on Zoom, and just the progression that we've been able, and the journey that we've been able to go on because of the guests that we bring on and because of the viewers watching the show, to be able to bring it in the format that we have it now. So thank you for everybody who watches and listens week in and week out.
It's been a fun journey, fun journey. Yeah. Well, and since you brought up Jason, we wanted to touch on a couple lessons even from him. Like, he was one of our very first episodes. I think he was number 2 that we had on the show, and he's doing some really cool stuff right now when it comes to marketing and really getting hyper local with it. Obviously, he's a client of ours. We do his SEO and manage the website, and we just recreated his website again, just to freshen it up and help him rank even more. But he's doing something really cool with local coffee. And I know you chatted with him a little bit about that. So why don't you share it?
Yeah. So one of the things, and I think he actively puts this on his Facebook profile, is so what he does is he goes out to a local coffee shop, and he gives them, a certain amount of dollars. I don't know the exact number. And he says, cool, I'm going to buy all the coffees up until this money is gone, but you have to slap a sticker on of Julian Heat and Air with his name and his phone number. This coffee's, thanks to Julian Heat and Air. And it's one of these things when you do it on a hyper local level, to within, in his communities, 11, 12,000 people in his hometown. but he's doing this on this hyper local level that people see this as a goodwill. It's a branding thing. It's just a straight branding play. And people will see that and they say, oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Julian Henair. But if he continues to do that, now he builds this goodwill within the community. And that's the community involvement that you can get into once you have a great brand and online strategy in place. So
100%. Well, and I know Amanda Triolo, another one of our guests we had on the show, she's doing this as well with her Grasshopper Heating and Air up in New York. She's doing the same thing where she's throwing stickers on the side of the cups, buying coffee for people. And it's one of those things, if you've ever heard the term guerrilla marketing, right? It's disruptive marketing meant to create a viral experience, right? Tommy Mello did the same thing where he put a billboard upside down in a community, right? When you can create a marketing experience that's giving back, it's adding value, and it's unexpected, it goes a long way, right? So thinking about marketing a little bit differently and having a little piece of your marketing budget going towards experimental things that also add a lot of value to people. And if something comes back because of it, great. If not, oh, well, you made a big splash, and I'd rather have people talking about me than being irrelevant to them.
Yep.
So,
well, and we've even seen that in some of our episodes when we have certain guests on, people like, I don't like that person. Okay, cool.
Yep.
You know what? We might not have liked that person either. All right. There's been guests on, not necessarily in any particular case of like, if the person's watching, like, oh, that's me. No. There's been a handful of guests that we've had on that I know that I haven't liked. But the people have the conversations behind them, right? And they are having these conversations. They're front and center, behind that. But the idea again of the show is to bring the value, right?
Totally. Well, and also like putting the idea of liking someone on one pedestal versus respect, right? Respecting what it is that they've done in their business, regardless if you like the tactics they use to get there, there's still a level of respect that you can have for the work that was put in to get there. And within that, there are some lessons that you can pull from it. I'm not, in no way would I say like, hey, go model someone that you don't like. I think there's a big difference there between core values and things like that you can get into. We are going to talk about culture a little bit on here as well, but definitely being able to extract those lessons is a huge growth curve.
Well, and you think about lessons and extracting and putting into different categories, and how do you classify all these different things into one thing? And Al Levy has the 7 powers. That's his contracting thing. And when you break those down, like they all fit into this. I remember having him on the show, and he walked through all 7. And it's just like
July 7th, by the way.
July 7th, perfect. He
7th month, 7th day, 7 powers. There you go.
Was it actually on 7/7? Wow, that's actually my anniversary, 7/7/17. So there we go. I probably shouldn't have said that on the air. It's actually not my password for anything, so we're okay. I think except for part of my Wi-Fi. But anyway, so the 7 powers, planning, and we're not gonna go into deep dives on these. A lot of our snippets fall into these 7 things. So you have planning, you have operations, you have finance, staffing, marketing, sales, and sales coaching are his 7 powers. So and really, when you boil it down, those are your 7 things that you need to focus on as a business.
100%. So with that, then let's get into finance a little bit, because we had a bunch of guests that were talking about finance between Patrick Lang and Brian Cohen, both of them running businesses where they're helping in acquisitions, right? So whether you're a business looking to sell or you're a business looking to purchase and acquire more businesses, both of them wealth of knowledge when it comes to that sphere. So what was some of your lessons from that?
Sorry, I was trying to go to the numerology one. Look at this guy. So, I think the big thing, like when you look at Patrick and Brian specifically, and having them on the show is, I have a lot of lessons that I can take from that. I mean, one is making sure that your books are in order. Right. Yeah. If you want to sell your business eventually, and you want to create that enticement for people to look at your business as a real structured business and get a great return on it, is making sure that your books are in order. Hiring that out and having a great accounting staff, a great bookkeeping staff to make sure that it is there, and everything is itemized and expensed accordingly. With that is a huge thing. The other part, and having Brian on. Was don't be scared of taking on investors into your business, especially if it's structured and done the right way, because you can leap forward a lot faster in a business by taking on certain risks and calculated risks with certain investors.
Correct. Well, and it's funny. I was having a conversation with a guest that we're going to be having on in February, who successfully sold his business. And he was talking to me about two friends that he had that sold their businesses as well. One did double the revenue of the other, but they both sold for the same amount because their EBITDA was the same. Right. And I know that's something that both Patrick and Brian got into, was knowing that it's not your revenue that is going to determine the ultimate value of your business. It's that EBITDA. So understanding that, I think, is really important, which again comes back to getting your books in order, which, you know, we had Lee Jameson on the show early on as well. He was December of last year, and he was talking about the KPIs as a business owner. Do you know what your gross margin is as a business? Do you know what each level of your marketing is adding to your business, right? And understanding what the budget is on all of those things. How much are we paying per lead, per sales conversion on each level of marketing? And I thought that was really fantastic. Heather Bargender, that we had on the show just a few weeks ago, CFO, someone who understands financials on a really, really deep level, right? Again, do you know your margins? Do you understand your break-even point for your business? That's something that not a lot of people talk about. And I think when you actually look at your business and you say, okay, well, you know, it's $1 million, it's $500,000, it's $250,000, it's $5 million, whatever it is for you, know what your break-even point is for your business in order to cover your operations for the year. Obviously, equipment costs are not factored into that because that's factored in on each sale. But, you know, an ideal gross margin should be around 55%, 45 on a low end, 55 on a solid end, right? Ideal net profit being around 15%, right? Are you hitting those numbers? Do you actually know what your numbers are? Heather got into that really deep, and I fucking love that conversation with her. She was great.
Yeah, and speaking of Heather and what they're doing with Travis Smith out in Sky Heating, and they're taking this to a whole new next level. And like when you think about like how do you create a culture? How do you create these things within an organization to be able to help give back to your employees? And I know Ian Shotanis, HR guy, talked a lot about that on the show, and we'll circle back to HR guy here in a second. But you look at what Heather and Travis are doing, and I dropped it on their post that I really want to get them onto the show to be able to go through this workshop, or maybe we spin something off and do something separate, you know, on it. But they took their team and Ian, and they gave them financial training to their team, to their employees, to say, hey guys, here's how you can actually set up a retirement fund. Here's how you like, and they broke it dodown, you know, a 28-year-old or 29-year-old, their training was worth $3.2 million because if they followed their plan, that's how much they could save by the time they came to retirement. And so it's just these extra things of going that extra mile. I mean, and we've seen that, you know, a lot of our top level guests, they go the extra mile for their team and for their people to be able to do those small things. So
it's huge. And I think, I mean, one, it's adding value to your team. So that's great.
Yes.
Two, it's actually helping with your retention, because for the people who are chasing money, when they see you putting that level of care into their future, are they going to leave now to go run their own business, or will they stay with you? Right? Are you opening up what it looks like for them to run their own business versus stay with you? I know Tersh talked about that. You know, he had one of his top people in his business, Tersh Blissett, what Service Business Mastery is the podcast that he runs. And then he also runs a business called Service Emperor. But he got into that concept, and he had someone working at his business where he opened up his books, said, this is what it takes to run a business, and showed them all of the working pieces of running the business. They no longer wanted to run their own business. They said, it's easier for me to stay in my role here and make a good income. Now you couple that with what Travis and Heather just did, and you showed them the future of what their life could really look like and the full opportunity of what it looks like to work with you. So I think that was a really key thing. And I loved both of those things.
Well, and you look at, you know, going back to that Ian Shotanis, you know, what does HR mean, right? Most people think it's paperwork. Most people think it's that boring shit. I mean, yeah, okay.
I think it's Toby from The Office.
Yeah, right. But that's what people think about HR. Like when I think about HR, I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to be in HR. because I would probably tell somebody to fuck off, and then I would probably get a lawsuit coming my way. So it's just like, all right, just have a layer of insulation on that. But HR is company culture, it's operations, it's morale. It's having all of those things together, and all those things that we talked about build into that.
Absolutely. Speaking of someone who has fantastic company culture, Stacey Four is tuning in from the beaches in Hawaii. Dropped an aloha in the chat. Thanks, Stacey. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in from the beach on vacation.
I just want to say Hawaii is LOL. Stacey, same thing. She's like, there's no fucking way I could do HR. Me as well. So there's there's a certain level of finesse that I just don't have. I'm a very black and white, and I'm going to steamroll you over because I see your potential, and I don't necessarily care about the relationship. But although I will say Hawaii is like, we went to Maui, still one of my favorite places that I've went. Absolutely gorgeous, out of this world. I don't think you guys are on Maui. I think you guys are on Big Island, but nonetheless, still amazing.
Yes.
But you look at something like what Stacey did, right? I mean, Stacey and Mike, they had their business. I mean, they were doing 7 figures, and they're like, they couldn't keep people, they couldn't retain talent, and they're like, okay, well, what's the problem? And they looked in the mirror and they said, it's us. We're the problem. We need to create a better company culture. So they actually scaled back their business, brought it down to re-put in pillars into their organization to be able to rebuild it healthier and stronger than ever. And that don't discount that, by the way. You can still make changes in your business if you need to make the changes and if you're committed to being able to do it.
Well, and they rebranded.
Yep.
Right. Triple Play Home Services. Love the brand. Still waiting for my jersey, but whatever. But another thing was, and it was funny, I talked to Stacey while we were at the Service Hero 10X event in Vegas, and they were going to take their core values. They had 15 core values, I think it was at the time, and they wanted to narrow that down to be really concrete and succinct and specific so that every single one of their team would be able to reiterate. Yeah, there you go. Would be able to reiterate exactly what it is that their company stands for. And now you can hire against those core values. You can train against those core values. You can promote against those core values, right? And they've got this now painted on their wall in their office. I saw a picture on Facebook, right? Commitment, stability, revolutionary, growth, and accountability. Those are the pillars that their business is built on. And it's really admirable. And John Shirk, that was on our show, he said, and I quote, "Don't compete for techs with wages, win with culture." That is what is going to define your business, and being able to hire the best people and bring in the best quality talent. On top of that, and this guy hasn't been on the show yet, but we're going to have him on the show eventually. Billy Stevens, I was listening to he was on Service Business Master yesterday, and he was talking about maintenance agreements. And the reason why he can hire the best techs in the off season is because their business, Billy Go, which they created strictly so that they could have Sarah and create Sarah for it and have a testing platform for it. They have 1,700 maintenance agreements. Well, that's 8 months worth of maintenance calls that they can go and run. So of course they're going to be able to hire more techs, because even in the slow seasons, those shoulder seasons, they're able to hire more people and have top talent coming in. Now you couple that with what John talked about, what Stacey is doing, and you've got a winning culture.
Sorry, I was responding back to Stacey. What numbers? Anything over 25 is up for grabs. And my response was the 18-year-old me wants to say 69. And so, although on the topic of that, we asked Brittany Weaver what the best part of waking up, or the best way to start the day is, and she said sex. So there you go. Gets your day kicked off on the right way.
So we had to plug that in. I think the highlight of every show just about is the random question generator, and Brittany definitely took the cake on the year for that one.
I think so too. What's actually funny? We did not pull up a random question for you and I. So
we didn't.
No, we
still
did not.
Could.
So I think we still can too. But to shift in the focus a little bit, onto now we kind of talked a little bit about setting up the business, the culture, the pillars. Those things. Now and we touched on staffing a little bit too. When it comes to marketing, And you look at, okay, you've got all these things. How do you grow the business? And I used to think, and this was taught to me, is that, okay, well, you want to plan your marketing budget for the next year. You take what you did in the current year, and that's your marketing budget. So if you want to spend 10% back into marketing, okay, you did. I'm going to make my math easy for me. I'm just going to say $1 million per year business. You want to spend 10%. Okay, $100,000. Where's that going to get you? And you kind of work backwards from that. But when we had Pete and Alicia Green on from Go Green Plumbing and Heating, they actually look at it completely different. They're like, okay, if I want to grow to a $2 million per year business, what sort of a marketing budget do I need at a $2 million level? And I want to spend 10%. Again, I'm using whole numbers. I mean, it can be anywhere from 5 to 15%, maybe 12%, depending on your growth and where you're at in the business and what you have in play and your branding, et cetera. So they say, okay, I want to go from $1 million to $2 million. I need to spend $200,000. That's 10% of $2 million. And so focusing on the look forward part of things in acting as if you're a business doing $2 million and marketing as if you're a business doing $2 million, and you'll have that success. So it was a different mentality shift that I know is stuck with me after that episode, because it's reframed my way of thinking about marketing budgets.
No, definitely. And I think another one that really resonated with me around marketing budgets specifically was Dan Antonelli. You know, when we had him on the show, and he talked about, and he's referenced this numerous times, I've re-referenced it on the show numerous times, was the quote from Roy Williams: "Overspending in advertising is the tax you pay for being unremarkable." Right. Mm-hmm. So now making sure that not only is your marketing on point and you're projecting forward and continue to budget forward, but also making sure that your brand is on point and spending the time to invest into your brand to make sure that you are memorable. Now, quick plug for us. For those of you that do not know how to build out a marketing plan, last week we did a webinar. Thad did an amazing job talking about the why of why you should be going after your goals, what to chase for your goals, and specifically the ideal client that you were chasing after with your goals. So you got really clear on that. Go back and watch that webinar from last week. It's on YouTube and on our Facebook pages here. This week, tomorrow at 6 p.m., shameless plug, we're doing another webinar, and we're getting into the how of what it is that we're going after. So if you want to register for that, lp.onpurposemedia.ca/webinar is the address that you can go and register for that. And we're going live on YouTube, live on our Facebook channels. And we're going to be diving into exactly how to get those goals and how to spend your marketing budget. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be fun. I get to play in the background and respond to all the comments and have some fun on that one. So it should be good.
That's it.
So I was trying to pull up my random question generator, and my computer has just went to absolute trash mode.
Sorry, I got two here for you, bud.
Okay, perfect. But I can't ask you one then.
I'll ask myself the second one. How's that?
No, that's no fun.
All right. What's something that you know that few other people know?
What's something that I know that few other people know? Well, I'm going to go with this. It's actually my first ever time on an airplane. I was 20 years old, and I jumped out of the fucking thing. That was my first ever experience on an airplane. I won it as a contest, back selling knives. And people thought I was crazy that I was A, 20 years old and my first time ever on an airplane, and B, I decided to jump out of it. So there you go.
Everett, to answer your question, is someone going to send me a hat? It got lost in the mail, bud. So we'll send you another one.
Or you could go to onpurposemedia.ca/swag, I'm going to guess, and you can buy one.
There you go. There's that option.
All right. Love the random question. I'm just actually currently looking. All right. How much damage could your best friend do to you if you ever had a falling out?
Well, considering that, hey, there you go. Lions don't buy hats. That was last week's hat. Sorry. Considering my best friend is my wife, I would say like really bad. Really bad. She sees the darkest parts of me. So
and knows every intricate detail of anything that could possibly be put out into the public eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do want to actually talk about public eye, and this is something that came from, I believe, Jason Julian and a few others that we've seen do this. I was on Gene Slate's platform a little while ago, talked about kind of a ninja hack in a way around Facebook's pay-to-play marketplace for business pages. I mean, if you have a business page with 1,000 followers, nobody sees that shit. Very rarely. And so I have Fred requesting her now, Stacey. I love you. But it is a ninja hack away around things. Don't be scared to talk about and plug your business and do all those things on your social media profile. You look at some of the people that we follow in the space and a lot of other successful individuals in the space, it's all their personal profile. And people might think, okay, well, I'm a very private person. I don't want to share that. Okay, well, don't share that. Right? It's literally that simple. I know I had the same paradox myself when we first started this journey, and one of our coaches is like, okay, well, optimize your personal Facebook profile to be able to do the things that you need to do with your friends list. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm a private person. So what did I do? I spent, I think, 3-4 hours going back through every single post from the beginning of time, deleting ones that I thought like, and then every now and again, the memory pops up and like, that could have been one I might have wanted to delete. Or it might have been funny, like talking about lions and sex, and once a year they mate for like a week straight, every hour on the hour. So I thought that one was kind of funny. But the point of it is that you can share whatever you want to share, and you don't have to share the other stuff, right? Like be strategic behind that, and more people can see you and your growth. But here's the other thing, is that your friends and your family, that's the other part that people might think like, oh, I might be scared of offending my friends and family. You know what? Who cares? Right? They're going to unfollow you if they don't want to see your shit. If they want to continue to see your shit and they want to support you, they're going to continue to watch it and see your growth in a business as well. So it's just a neat little way to be able to hack the system a bit.
Well, and I think the other side of that too is the Facebook algorithm is only going to serve people content that they want to see. So if they're not liking it, if they're not commenting on it, it's going to stop showing it to them anyways, right?
Yep.
Like you and I both have over 3,000 friends on Facebook right now. And so we can't possibly see every single person's post. I don't see anyone's post that I went to high school with.
Nope.
Like, all I see right now is HVAC contractors because that's who I interact with. That's who I talk with on a daily basis, and marketers, right? That's the other side of it, is other like business consultants and marketers. But that's primarily all I see in my Facebook feed, right? So I would highly encourage everyone to make sure that you're at a very minimum, share your business posts to your Facebook profile.
Yep.
Right? Even if you don't want to turn your personal profile into a business profile, at least share them on there because people want to know what you're up to and they really care about it.
Oh, we had somebody that brought Russell Furr in to train his team this week after hearing him on our podcast. So
that was Everett. Yeah, that's really cool.
Nice. That is cool.
Yeah, Russell on our show was fantastic. I mean, he fit right in as far as how much he was cursing. He even cursed more than you. It was fantastic. But
what are you trying to say here?
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a lot of lessons I pulled from him as well. Gosh, I'm even trying to remember right now. But no, Russell was great. I really loved having him on the show. He was great. And then he went on to do the Service Titan podcast right after. And I think that was one that you probably listened to there, Everett.
Yeah, I know he was on it right after. So like no filter, right? That was the biggest thing. Like he was a straight shooter. He said what it is that he wanted to say when he needed to say it, right? And like I know some of the things he's been talking about lately is the Google reviews and just showing people like when he gets his bad reviews from it. It's just it doesn't affect him deep-heartedly like some people get in there. And I will talk about 1-star reviews because I know we had Brian Ronk on the show a little while ago on there about it. But like, I think the thing that was interesting with Russell Furr is that, he talked about two things specifically that I remember is one,
stay on topic.
Right, stay on topic. I got to not watch the comments on the side. Was the whole tech turned owner, right? Figuring that part of things out and saying, okay, I was a technician. I noticed a gap in the marketplace in terms of where he wanted to do his business. He transitioned to being an owner in the business, starting his own. And a lot of the learning experiences that went behind that But the other part that he chatted about was adding on his services. So he started as a plumbing, he started as electrical, and he added on HVAC. And walking through the scenarios on how he did that was very interesting, very powerful for that. I thought that was great.
I did love both of those lessons. All I could
Yes.
think of with him was Dominican Republic, because that's where he loves to vacation to and where I'm moving to, and and also rum, because he loves his rum. So those were the only two things that came to mind. And I was like, shit, that's not really helpful for most people.
Nope, not really. So
Jason Walker just said, what's up, boys? Good to see you, Jason. Thanks for joining us, brother. We just had him on the show last week, and he dropped a lot of nuggets. My favorite thing with him was those defining moments. He talked about all of his defining moments in his career that led him to where he's at today. But the thing that I challenge a lot of people on right now is, what are the defining moments for you? What are those moments in your past that in the moment felt like nothing worse could have happened to you, but now in reflecting back on it, you're so grateful for what it was that it gave you? So that was just a quick little nugget there from J-Dub. So thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, no, that was it was a fire episode. I went back and I listened to that. We had a little intro on there. It was kind of fun to be able to talk about. I know I mentioned 1-star reviews, and I want to touch on this because we've had a few guests that talked about reviews and the whole process of that. I mean, we referenced Pete and Alicia Green already. They actually have a system where they gamify reviews with their text. So 5-star reviews, 4-star reviews, and then 1 to 3-star reviews fit into a certain category in order to be able to get more reviews. And I think at the time of the show, they had over 1,300 Google reviews. I don't know what it's at now, but because I haven't looked since the show, I just remember looking at the notes and 1,300 Google reviews. But having some form of a review generation strategy in your business, because it doesn't overtly help with rankings on your Google business profile. It does a little bit, but what it really helps for is conversions. You know, I was on actually Josh Crouch and I know we had him on the show, a fellow marketer. We were chatting today on Zoom, just put a few things, and it's a tribe, right? I mean, us in our business, we have a few marketers that we hang out with, that we chat with. I highly encourage you guys to have that as well within your business, but making sure that you have those Google reviews that help with your conversions. Conversely, when you get a 1-star Google review, you have to respond back to that shit, and you have to get 5-star reviews to push that 1-star review down. People will often, as a consumer, and I know I do this as well, and I'm sure that everybody is nodding their head in agreement that they also do this. When they're looking at a specific company to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars with, you're going to read the Google reviews, and you're going to go read the negative 1-star reviews. How a business owner responds to those reviews is the most important part. It's almost more important on how you respond to those 1-star reviews than you do to the 5-star reviews. And not coming at a place of, well, you know, we did this and you didn't want to do this, and this is our side of the story. Rah. No, coming at it from a place of compassion and understanding and empathy to be able to help them with their problem that they came to you with, to try to turn that 1-star review into a 5-star review with how you responded back. Because as a Google reviewer, you can update your reviews. You can't update your response as an owner. I don't think you can, anyways. Maybe you can. But as a reviewer, the person that leaves the review, you can update that, and you can get a chance to win that person over to a 5-star review. But here's a better strategy for that. Before you're done your appointments, train your techs on how to ask and engage for Google reviews right then and there. Hey, Mrs. Jones, do you feel that I provided you with a 5-star level of service today?
Right.
And if they say no and anything lower than that, okay, there's your opportunity to address it before it becomes something else later on down the road. And you know what? There's going to be the ones that are going to slip between the cracks. They're like, yeah, it was amazing. 5 stars. Boom. And then like 3 days later, you get like a 2-star from that same person. Like, what the fuck? You know, it happens. But at least you're putting your best foot forward in order to be able to mitigate that.
100%. Well, and it's also I think reframing what it means to get a 1-star review. And this was something that Ish had talked about in the past as well, Ishmael Valdez. A 1-star review is a symptom of an operation in your business that needs resolving. Yep. And it's bringing attention to that for you. right? So that's number one. Number two, 1-star reviews are often what customers are looking at when making a buying decision, because they want to see how you're responding to that, right? So is your goal to actually flip them into a 5-star, or is your goal just to actually provide them with a resolution to the issue that they had, right? Changing the way you look at that and the way you view that, I think, is really impactful into how you address that. And as an owner, being the one that reaches out to them instead of a CSR, instead of a manager, being the owner that reaches out to that customer, I think goes a long way in terms of how they feel about you as a company afterwards. And you're not trying to make everyone's day better, right? Google actually came out with a stat saying that 5-star review, like a company that has a straight 5-star review with hundreds of reviews, doesn't get as much business as the businesses that are between 4.7 and 4.3. So it's not a bad thing to have a few 1-star reviews, but how you handle it goes a long way. The other thing I will say that I loved about Peter Green was the culture that they built within their organization, again, with technicians, was to go the extra mile in making the experience with a customer exceptional. I remember the story of them taking hot water tank boxes and the tech themselves actually building it into a castle or a house for the kids to go and play in, right? So going that extra mile to make the experience of working with your company so exceptional for customers. And when you gamify it the way that Peter and Alicia have, I think it rewards techs for the behaviors that you want to see them to have within the families and within your customers.
Oh, 100%. And that actually, those small things go a long way with the customer, right? I know we just recently had 2 windows replaced in our house that were broken, and they had to come back for the second window. They made a crack when they cracked it when they were installing it. It's like, we got to order one and come back. I mean, that's cool. It happens, but it's funny because they remembered the house, and the guy came out with a dog treat for our dog because like our dog was there barking. He's like, "Oh, go get a treat the first time if she can have him." Cool, comes back with a treat, but then second time brings a treat already with him to give to the dog. And then the whole time they're outside replacing the window, the dog was out there. I was chatting with him. I went inside. I forgot the dog out there, but all of a sudden I see this ball getting thrown in the backyard. The dog running after the ball, going back to the guys doing the window install, and then ball getting thrown. And so they played with our dog outside because they liked and enjoyed that part of things on there. And then of course when they left, the dog was lying by the gate like, "Where did my friends go?" And it was all sad. But it's just that extra small thing that somebody can do. Like, okay, it takes a couple extra minutes to stop. I mean, there's 2 of them, and play with the dog and throw the ball, but that's a long ways. Kids,
Yep.
Same thing, right?
Absolutely. Well, and John Rulin, he's an old friend from Cutco as well, and he wrote the book Giftology. One of the things that he talks about is the 4 biggest impacts that you can make with another customer. When this is usually with B2B world, but it's the gatekeeper is number 1, but then it's the wife or spouse, the kids, and their pets, right? So you can make a big impact with a customer by taking care of the people around the person who's making the purchasing decision. With that, we got 2 final things that we want to chat about, and 2 of the biggest players that we had on the show in terms of visibility within the industry. Victor Rancour, we had him on back in June, I believe it was. No, it was end of May. May 19th, if you want to go back and listen to that episode. But one of my favorite lessons that we took from Victor, we asked him, how do you know when to stop doing something in business? If anyone who follows Victor and looked at his Facebook profile, and on a given day, it seems like he's constantly doing something new, because he's not trying to win the game 3-0 by making 3 right decisions and 0 wrong decisions. He's trying to win the game fucking 123 to 97, right? He wants to make more right decisions than wrong, but he also understands that in order to do that and win on a really high level, you need to make a lot of decisions really fast and keep moving the business forward and pull the plug really quick when things aren't going the right way. I thought that was a fantastic lesson. And it's funny because every guest that we had on the show that was doing multiple 7 figures in their business, and even high 7, clearly they're on their way to 8 or even 9 figures in their business. That was a common denominator amongst all of them, the ability to make a quick decision in their business.
Gather all the facts and move forward with it. If you got to act something, don't get emotionally attached to it. Just move forward with it. Hire slow, fire fast is the thought process that I come into with that, and just being able to the speed of an organization. And like we even saw this in one of our previous organizations that we worked with. One of the reasons that they could move on a lot of things is because of the speed of implementation and the chain of command that they established in the organization to be able to make decisions like that. And when you can do that, when you can move forward, you have a bigger, powerful organization. So
money loves speed,
right? Money loves speed. So we've heard that numerous times, over our years as well. So the last thing that I want to touch on is and we had Ish talk a lot about this when he was on the show, is what's your legacy? And like we were even chatting about this earlier today on one of our mastermind calls with somebody within our network as well. How can you build generational wealth? And in this isn't the topic I don't want to talk on isn't generational wealth. It's just, what legacy are you leaving within the industry, right? How are you going about doing things to leave the industry in a better place than when you started in it? And for him, it was all about going around in his big dream. Once he's arrived at the aha moment that I've made it in my business, is for him to go around and tour the country to high school kids and tell them how great the trades can be and get them into it from an early age. Because when you can do that, you can help mold and shape the next generation of individuals that can drive our trade forward.
100%. Well, and there's an analogy that's told in the book, The Compounding Effect by Darren Hardy, that I've absolutely always loved. And it's, if there's a 20-foot long 2x4 laying on the ground and I were to offer you $20 to walk across it, would you do it?
Yes.
Great. If I were to take that same 20-foot long 2x4 and put it on top of two 20-story buildings, would you do it?
Yes.
For $20?
Yes. I fucked your story up. No, I would not.
Would you be scared?
Oh, I'd be scared shitless.
There you go. So now,
let's $20 is $20.
$20 is $20. The reality is most people would not. Why? The risk to do it is not the same payoff as the reward to do it. Now, let's paint this picture. That other building is on fire and your child is on the other side. Now, would you walk across it?
The person would be running across that thing, like not 100%. Even a thought.
$20 or not, you would still do it. The only thing that changes, it's the same 2x4 in all three examples. The only thing that changes is the purpose, your why behind doing the action, right? When you look at what Ish is building, they're on pace right now to hit $56 million this year. I keep seeing his updates within Service Avengers, and I absolutely love it. And you think about that, $1 million a week. It's crazy to think about for most people in business, most of the people that are watching this show. His why is bigger than that. His why is to build a self-sustaining business where he can completely remove himself and go around the country to tell every high school student how great their trades are. That is legacy. That is powerful. And when your why is that big and it's bigger than you, it gives you mission and purpose to go out and do the daily grind. People forget that the purpose of a goal is not to attain the goal. The purpose of a goal is to keep you appropriate in the moment. How he hires in his business is now different because that is his end goal.
Mm-hmm.
How he runs his management meetings is now different because that is his end goal. Right? Your daily activities change when you have a higher purpose. So I absolutely love that. I highly encourage everyone to take a deep dive within themselves and think about, what is my higher purpose? And maybe it's not that big, and it doesn't have to be that big, right? It's not meant to be for everyone, but to have a higher purpose in something that you're going after, it brings meaning to the day-to-day. So yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Dylan, thank you so much for chiming in, brother. The crazy thing about NextGen is that they are doing it in SoCal with a monster like Service Champions just down the street. 100%. They're crushing it in SoCal, and they're doing it the right way, right? And that's the powerful thing. But when you look at this business, there's so much opportunity that exists.
Well, and let's end on this thought. When we hear things like that with service champions just down the street, monster companies in competition, and we hear this, it creeps up every now and again in conversations that we have is, oh, but my competition, oh, but my competition, oh, but my competition. Who gives a fuck about your competition? Straight up, like honestly, the only reason that competition affects you is because it's right in here. Right. It's in your head. There's enough business to go around for all. If you have an abundance mentality and an abundance mindset that everybody can prosper, if you do things the right way, you're going to have success in your business. And that's, we haven't even chatted mindset at all. But a common theme pretty much on every single guest is the mindset, right? What is your mindset? Where is it at? Are you able to grow your business because you're mentally able to grow your business? Are you not able to grow your business because you're mentally not able to grow your business? And I'm not talking, mentally in any other context other than your mindset, right? I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear on that. It's your mindset, your mentality behind things on if you can grow your business or not. It's you.
Absolutely. Well, and JFK said the rising tide lifts all boats, right? Competition makes the industry better. It makes you better. And it's also going to expose those who are trying to cheat the system. So if you feel like you're being shorted because someone's doing the wrong things and doing things the wrong way, they'll eventually be exposed. Don't worry about them. Focus on you. Right. And that, again, comes back to the mindset. How do you view things? Because all we have in life is a focus and the meaning that we give things. Right. So if you're choosing to focus on what's wrong with the market, what's wrong with your business, what's wrong with your competition, you're going to get more of that. If you're choosing to focus on what's right about it, and even though what they're doing is not okay, how is that going to lift you up? And Amanda Triolo comes up again every month looking at reviews, negative reviews of her competitors so that she can build her company the right way. I love that mentality. Right? What are you choosing to focus on daily in your business so you can continue to make progress and move forward?
Love that. So cool. Well, I think that, we could keep chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting about everything and everything. And I think that we've covered a lot in the year look back. We could probably do 2-part series, but we won't. Because,
I was going to say, this was supposed to be a half hour and we just kept going and going.
47 minutes. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, but there's this. Oh, but there's this. Oh, but there's this. I'm like, no, let's call her an episode. And again, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. Thank you for being a part of this journey over this last year. In 2021, I have no doubt that 2022 is going to be a fire year for everyone. I just like that ever since we had that on there. But let's make sure we take some time over the holiday season. I know we're taking 2 weeks off from the show. It's the first time, actually, I think since last Christmas that we haven't done an episode. We've been coming at you every single week, week in and week out. But we're going to take some time to be with our family. So I encourage you guys to take some time with your family, recharge the batteries, and let's get after 2022 and make it the best year ever for you and your business.
100%. So, and oddly enough, the second question that came up for me in the random question generator was, what's your favorite daily routine? First thing that came to mind to me was gratitude.
I thought you were going to say daily. I thought you were going to say Brittany Weaver's thing. Yeah.
Close second.
Yeah. I don't know. The first thing I do in the morning is open my eyes. So
it's not the first thing. It's your favorite daily routine,
right?
Which is gratitude, right? And expressing gratitude daily is something that I have been practicing for a number of years now. I write it down in a journal. I'll write it down on my phone, like wherever I can, just to express gratitude. And I absolutely echo all of Thaddeus' sentiments there. So grateful for all of you. Our mission in creating this show was to give back and add value to the industry as a whole. And again, lift the entire industry up, because we know that we can't work with everyone and we're not meant to work with everyone. And that's okay. But if we can contribute in one small fashion to lift everyone up, it's meaningful for us. So we appreciate all you fucks. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And I guess until next time, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for watching another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, 2 quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing is, if you took one tiny bit of information out of the show, one golden nugget, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this show to one person in your contacts list so they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers. Come on, the end screen. That doesn't show up. And the broadcast. That was a fail. I was trying to re-record a new one. Anyways, bye.